no!
What's up guys, you know me already, my name is Damian, this is Cool Mentors IT, and today I want to dig in to the HTML with a little snippet of CSS. Now, we'll be working with CodePen today. CodePen is a very useful tool where you can type your code online without downloading any code editor on your computer. So you can use it wherever you want and whenever you want, as long as you have the access to the internet. What is cool about CodePen is that you can see an instant effect of what you're working on, but the best feature of CodePen is the possibility to look at other people's code, so that you can play with it, change something, and see how something works. So this is a great tool, I recommend it, try it yourself. I'll put the link to the example below so you can pop in and try to change something on your own. So today I want to show you some practical examples of how to write the HTML code with a little dose of CSS in the end. Now don't worry if some of these topics may be not understandable for you right now. I just want you to get familiar with the HTML and CSS notation at the moment. We will be learning about the HTML and CSS theory in the next videos. Then we will make our first website, but for now I just want to show you what you might to expect looking into some HTML and CSS files. So what do we have here are two examples of simple websites. The visual layer of these websites is not stunning, but it's not important for now. I want to show you two ways of building the HTML structure. One is using div tags with specific attributes like IDs and classes. The other one is using semantic tags born in HTML5 in 2014. Now let's go to our code. As you can see, it looks exactly like this. We have two exact simple websites. They're built with different techniques, but as you can see, for the user or for the browser, the effect is the same. As you can see right here, the example first is using divs mainly, the div tags, and the other example is using the semantic tags. So let's go to the top of our website. At the top, we got the div tag with ID header, which you can see right here. That's this element with those two headings on a bluish background. And inside our header, we have a container div tag, which includes two headings, h1 tag and h3 tag, which you can see one is bigger than other. And as you can see, most of our tags contains the opening tag and the closing tag right here. Just as we can see with this h1 tag, this is the opening and this is the closing tag. What we can see right here is the ID attribute, which stands for identifier, and we named it header just to be sure that this is our header on our website. But you can name it however you want. And as you can see, we build our HTML structure by nesting divs into other divs with no problem. So we have a big container like the div tag with ID header. Then we have the smaller container, which is only the div tag. And in this container, we have our two headings with some text. We can also name this ID differently, but we have to remember that ID is supposed to be one time in our whole document. So if this div contains ID header, this div right here cannot have the same ID. So when we close our div header, we have another div with ID menu. So you can see these are different divs with different IDs. So every div or every element in our HTML file can have its own ID. So here we have the div with ID menu in it, and then we have the UL tag, which stands for unordered list. There's also OL tag, which stands for ordered list, but unordered lists are commonly used, especially in menus or navigations, etc. So in this UL tag, which you can see right here, we have the LE tags, which are list elements. So these are the elements of our unordered list. And just to show you, this was div tag with ID header right here. And this, the shiny green one, is the div tag with ID menu right here. And we can see here our list items. They are by default highlighted with those dots. We can easily get rid of them, but we will keep it in this example. Now, as you can see, in every list element in our structure, we have also an A tag, which stands for anchor, which is link to some sort of section or even a different website. And we can see it by this attribute href, which stands for hypertext reference. And we can see hash in here. And this means that if we click our link, nothing happens. Because when we change our href attribute with some URL, and if we click it, we will go to the URL referenced in our href tag. But I'm gonna change it how it was. We don't need to go anywhere in our example, just to see how it was. And the next div on our website is div with class article. It's this element right here, which you can see we have a heading and a text of our article. So this heading is this h2 tag, which you can see it's the same text. And our text is inside a p tag, which stands for the paragraph. And what you can see right here is that we used class instead of ID. This is because we may have many articles on our website, and those articles will look the same. And the best way to make it happen is to put a class attribute into our div, because the crucial difference between the class and the ID is that class can be used in many divs. For example, we can have 20 div tags with class article, and it would be 20 articles looking the same on our website. Because as you can know, we can use ID only once on our website. So this is the main difference between the class and the ID. And this is going to be clear when you'll start to make your own websites. And at the end, we have the div tag with ID footer, which is our footer, we can see right here. And once again, we used ID because we have one footer on our website, and it's going to look unique with this ID. Now let's go to our second example. As you can see in our browser, it looks exactly the same. But as you can see in our code, we have the whole different tags used to create this structure. Now many developers use the same classes or IDs in their div tags like footer, nav, article, etc. So the HTML creators added semantic tags so the code would be easier to write and easier to read. You should know that nowadays it is recommended to use the semantic tags, as you may see here. There's no difference for the user or for the browser to display our website, but the internet search engines recognize the semantic tags and can position our website in those search engines with better effect. So let's go to our second example. The first difference you may see is that we have a header tag right here, and it's closed right here. So instead of making a div tag with ID header, there's a simple tag called header. Inside, instead of our div without any ID or class, which is container for our headings right here, we have special tag called h group, which stands for headings group. And we can put couple headings inside, as you may see right here. We got our h1 tag and h3 tag, which are visible right here. And we use the h group tag as a container. Hi guys, it's Damian from the future. I used the h group tag in this example, but I wasn't sure if it's still supported and recommended by the HTML5 specification. So I checked it out and apparently it's not. Now it's not a mistake to put this tag in your code because the browsers will interpret and display it correctly. But the semantic meaning of this tag is no longer recognizable by the browsers or the search engines. So I suggest you not to use it anymore, just to be correct with the HTML5 specification. Then we close our header, and the next element on our website is the nav tag. It's this element right here with those two links, and we use the nav tag instead of the div with ID menu in the first example. So the nav stands for navigation, and this tag is commonly used in making a menu or a navigation on our website. The interior of our nav tag is the same as in example 1. We have unordered list, which is the UL tag. Inside we have the list items, which are the LI tags. And inside those list items we have the anchors, the A tags, which we know as links, with the href attribute with the simple hush, so that when we click on our link it does nothing except refreshing our website like this, and it goes back to the top of our website. So we scroll down and see what do we have here next. The next tag you can see is the article tag. In example 1 we had a div with class article. So now we just have the article tag, and it's basically the same. Inside we have our h2 tag and our p tag. You can see it right here. This is our h2, which is the heading, and this is our p tag, which is the paragraph, which is the text of our article. And at the end, in the first example, we had the div with ID footer, but now we just have the footer tag to place our footer on our website. So that's basically it in the HTML topic. Now I want to go to the CSS. I'm gonna drag it right here. And now we are going to talk about the styling. So what you can see right here is the CSS code, and its basic notation looks like this. We have a selector, as you can see, which stands for the HTML element on our website. This is our reference to this element. Then we open curly brackets and close the curly brackets. And between those brackets, we are writing the CSS rule. Every CSS rule contains the property and the value separated with a colon. So that's basically what it is. Now I want to show you how it works. First of all, I want to show you how to comment your code. Now the notation of comments is different in every language, but in every code editor, no matter what language you write your code right now, you can make your comments with Control and slash on your keyboard like this. Now the text is muted right here, as you can see, and the interpreter will skip this line. You can see it right here. There should be our heading, but now it's commented and it's not visible for the user. To put it back, just click on this line, Control slash on your keyboard, and it should go back to normal. Let's refresh our website. Yeah, as you may see. If you want to comment many lines, you can just select it, then press Control slash on your keyboard, and it will be all commented. If you want to put back in, select it once again, Control slash on your keyboard, and it's back. It's the same thing with CSS and JavaScript, and it works with every code editor on your computer or in the browser, so you can check it out. You can place the selector on the line, click Control slash, and it's gonna be commented. Now we can put it back in, refresh our website, and there you go. Now I'm gonna show you what is going to happen when we comment all our styles on our website. So let's select all our styles, click Control slash on our keyboard, and this is the basic look of our website. Without the CSS, our website looks like in the early 90s.
More cool TV.
So now you see why we use CSS in our websites. We use it to make our websites look fabulous. Now I want to play around with these CSS styles and show you what they actually do. But don't worry if you don't understand anything right now. I'll explain everything you need to know about the CSS to make your own first website in the other video. For now, just observe and let your mind just sip some dose of the info about what's going on. So let's go back to our CSS code. I'm gonna uncomment this with Control/ on my keyboard, refresh our website, and there we have. Let's go with the first CSS rule. Once again, this is selector. After comma, we can put another selector, which defines the same CSS rule. So this rule, put it between those curly brackets, refers to our div with ID header, just as the header tag in our HTML file. So what do we have here is the background color. We can change it however we want. We could put it in 3 different ways. First way is to put our color with a word. Let's make it red. Let's see what's happening. We can also put blue. There are many colors you can use. You can Google list of colors which are recognized by the browsers. So you can put them by the name right here, by the hex number, or the RGB value. And there are many colors you can use in your CSS code. So as you can know, we can put a name of our color like this, or a hex number with the hash, like this, or the RGB function like this. Voila. Now we have our h1 tag and a color property. It's the same way we can use name or hex number. And what I wanted to say is the color property is always a font color, and the background color refers to the background in our element. The next thing we can see is text align. We have center right here, but we can put left. Let's see the change. You can see the change on your monitor. It can be right. So now we have the text to the right, but let's leave it center, how it used to be. The next interesting thing is padding, as you may see. So the padding is internal margin. We have it 20 pixels and 0. Let's make it 50 pixels. Let's see the difference. You can see it changed. Let's make it 1000 pixels. So now you can see it's 1000 pixels. Let's make it 100. Now you see it's bigger. Let's leave how it was, 50 pixels. What we can also change is font size, which we can see in this H2 tag. Now it's 30 pixels. Let's make it 50. Now you see this H2 got bigger. It has 50 pixels right now. Let's leave it how it was with 30 pixels. We can also see a text decoration, which now we have underline. We can make it none, so this underline disappears. But let's leave it how it was. Also, we have this border top, which stands for 5 pixels solid, and this is the color of our border. You can see it right here. Let's change the color first, maybe to red, just to see it better. And let's change solid to dotted. So now we can see our border is made from the dots. Let's make it 15 pixels. So now you can see it's bigger. But as you can see, it's border top. We can make it border left. Now we can see it on the left side or bottom. Now we can see it on the bottom of our footer, or just leave the border and then we have in every side of our element. Let's leave it that way. And what I wanted to show you next is the margin property, which is the external margin. We used it on the HR tag, which I'll discuss later, but it's this line right here. So we can separate elements with the bigger margin, like with 100 pixels. You can see the difference. Let's leave it 50 pixels for now. And now I want to show you how we refer to the classes and to the IDs in the CSS. As you can see in HTML, we put our ID like this. But to get to this element with this ID in CSS, we have to use hash, like we have here. We get div with ID header. That's the same element right here. We can also put only hash with header, because as we know, there can't be two same IDs on our website. And what about the classes? I'll find this class. Oh yeah, we have a div with the article class. Let's find it in our CSS. We have it right here. So we refer to our class with a dot in the CSS. This is how we create a class in the HTML. And this is how we want to refer to our class in CSS with the dot. We can put also only a class in our CSS and everything's gonna work. But when we refer strictly to div with this class, it has to be in a div class in our HTML file. Because when we put the same class in other tag, let's copy it and put it in our p tag right here, nothing will happen. But when we change the selector in the CSS for the p with the article class, we see the background color changed. We don't have this background color right here, we only got it right here. But when we leave in CSS only our class, it refers to every element with this class. Also for the p with the class article, as well as div with the class article. Now let's get rid of this class in the p tag. You can also overwrite your styles in CSS by putting another rule below. I'm going to show you on our h2 tag. We have font size 30 pixels for our h2, which we can see right here. But if I override it by writing h2 with another rule and make it 60 pixels, now we see I've overwritten our styles above. So this style below is more important than this style above. Now let's delete it. We can connect our CSS rules or we can separate them. Like we can see right here, we got the class article and the article tag with one rule, but we can make it separate. I'm gonna copy it, delete this article tag, leave only class article. Now I put the article tag, put the same rule, but change the color now. You see, our div with the class article right here has this grayish bluish background color, but our article tag has the blue background color right now. Now I want to go back to our HR tag, which we have here. It stands for the horizontal rule, and it makes on our browser the horizontal line through the whole website. And as you can see, it has no opening tag and a closing tag. This is the self-closing tag. We used to make this kind of tags with the slash on the end, but now it's not recommended in HTML5. As you can see, everything works well. But in these kind of tags, you should leave it like this. So as you can see, with the knowledge about the HTML and the CSS, you may have the unlimited possibilities and with creating your own websites. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, click like. If you want to see me again, click subscribe. Don't forget the notification bell. And if you have some questions, I'll be down in the comments to help you out. And I hope I'll see you next time right here on Cool Mentors IT.